good friends with Kim Kezy back in the early 60s?
Yeah, well, have you heard rumors that we're no longer friends?
Well, Kim Kezy, the famous author.
No, I think Kezy's someone that, probably the most honorable thing a writer can do in this country, which is, hide out and retire and just refuse to say any more than he wants to say. Unfortunately, his family has a dairy farm and mine doesn't. So, yeah, I have to work for my money. There are no trust funds. There's nothing. If I had 1,500 dairy cattle, believe me, you'd never hear my name again, except maybe in Doonesbury. But Kezy that's what he's done. He told me in 66 or 67 he was never going to write again because he thought it was a bad way to communicate. At the time we were all nuts, and it just sounded like one more, piece of talk. But I think he sort of carried out his threat. It's still, I think there are very few American writers who've written two books as good as, The Cuckoo and The Great Notion. Those are two very good books. If you can get 2 out of 2 like that, you deserve to have dairy cows and retire. Dope addict over here.
All right. I was recently in Central and Eastern Canada, and while I was there, the thought occurred to me that the future of North America might not be in the United States. And I wanted to know your opinion, if you'd ever met the Prime Minister, the other Trudeau, and 2, whether you had any opinions on the pros and cons of French separatism, because emotionally my feelings were for the Quebecois, but a lot of people think that René Lévesque is an asshole, and I tend to agree. So I'm wondering,
well, Carter might be an asshole too, but that doesn't mean he did me right.
Yeah, well, I don't think. Well, I just wanted to know if you had
I'm
any
sorry.
opinions.
I didn't want to argue with you, but
yeah, right. Whether you had any opinions, because my feeling was that emotionally it's correct in terms of both the survival of Quebec and Canada as a whole. It's not a good thing.
No, it's really not good for Canada as a whole. But when you have a province that large and that conscious of their French identity, if they can make it work. They don't have to argue about it. They only have about like a 6% sort of English population, or maybe call it 10 at the tops. If they can make it work, they can just make it. They don't have to ask the English about it, or the Canadians. They just do it.
That's right. But
if they can't make it work, it'll probably be a very noisy, dumb issue for a long time. If they can, I would succeed, but I wouldn't do it if I thought it was going to cost me $40 a day more than it's costing me now. And I get the feeling they thought about that, though. I've been up there and talked to those people, and I get the feeling that the separatists have given enough thought to it to. So I tend to believe them. I'm for them.
And what's your feeling about Trudeau, the other one?
He stepped in shit, I think. Like a moth to the light. Or the flame. He got into politics at a time when it was very fashionable. He was I think a very bright and very human kind of guy. But it hadn't done him much good. And I suppose, if you look at it in a selfless way, that he's done Canada some good. Because no disasters have occurred up there. The country hasn't gone to hell. The Canadian dollar is still on par with at least ours. On the evidence, he's done a pretty good job for a kind of Kennedy-style politician, which is going out of style. I think it's probably cost him a lot personally. But if I had to choose who should have been somebody has to die in order to maintain the office.
Somebody up there in the balcony?
Hunter, can you tell us if there's anybody left in Washington as evil as Nixon? And if so, are they in a position of responsibility?
If there was, I wouldn't be here, man. I'd be in Washington.
Do you name names?
No, that's what I mean. There's nobody. That's one of the problems of writing about politics now, or even political journalism. You got to have real ugly bastards to crank you up. And who are the boogeymen now? It's I flew out from Chicago with sitting next to one of the great boogeymen of our time, as far as I'm concerned. A truly evil person, Colson. When he was in the government, yes. He was Tex. He was the one who said, once you get him by the balls, their hearts and minds will follow. That's what he had above his desk in the White House.
You got a question down here?
Why is Idi Amin still alive? Well, nobody's crazy enough to go in there and challenge him, apparently. Once you get people intimidated that badly, and he apparently has them very seriously intimidated with massive firing squads, and he would, deny our graves, stuff like that. And we're talking about Idi Amin here, and why is he still alive? Are you disturbed about Amin? Well, what would you do about him then? I'm not. We've forgotten about what's happening in Uganda? Not me. I'm trying to get an assignment to go there and talk to Amin. Well, yeah, it's like going out to the swamp, to visit the alligator king. It's the best odds are 50-50 that I will not come out of that country if I go in. It's kind of reassuring.
You got a question up there?
Excuse me, but I have to cut you off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Let's see. Is this right?
Who's talking? Women? No, you have no microphone. Come on.
We go with the microphone, please.
No, you can, in a second you can do, yeah, you're next, but.
This is not political, and it may sound really naive, but how do you escape structure the way you do? You are incredible, you're wonderful, and your degeneracy.
I have a feeling that I didn't hear enough of that to be confident. You have to. I heard enough to know that it's a dangerous question, but not enough to answer it. You have to tell me again.
Do you want to try again?
Well, I heard just enough to be. I think I should be careful with this.
No, I'm serious.
Well, but I just can't hear exactly what you want me to tell you.
No, say what you want to say.
Well, what?
Huh? What?
Your earlier question was different from that last one.
Yeah.
What?
Do you want me to repeat it?
What's that?
Would you like me to repeat it? All right.
Yeah, it was an interesting question, but I want to hear it.
I am impressed by your ability to escape structure the way I feel like I'm a prisoner of it, sort of. And it seems in some of your writings you've been able to do that, but I mean you express yourself or something within yourself that way. I want to know how you can I hate to use the word degenerate, it's the only thing I can think of, but no, it's I'm not.
You were doing so well. Degenerate, well, that's my word.
I know you heard me the first time.
And you know what? I just didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I'm not combative here.
Well, I don't know if I'm coming across right.
Everything I heard everything perfectly up to degenerate, then I laughed, and you said something in the middle of it. What was the thing after degenerate?
How do you do it? Is what
How do I maintain as a degenerate?
Well, no.
I told you it was a dangerous question.
No, we might forget it because I'm not coming across the right way.
It's a mechanical. I think it's a mechanical question or failure.
Well, okay.
Or maybe a question of your own sanity.
That's right. Yeah.
Why do you figure that since I can live outside a structure, which I'm kind of paraphrasing you, that I must be either degenerate or insane?
It's not. I mean, it's.
No,
I'm using
a
campy word. I think you know what I'm asking you. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you escape from something.
Neither do I. That's an honest.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. You have to run real fast and never sleep much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
We have a question up here.
When Kim Kezy said that he thought the novel was not a good way to communicate, was that just an offhand remark, or did he think there was a better way?
Apparently he thought he was right, because he hasn't written another one since then. And he's obviously capable of doing it, so anyway, some people you have to take it their, you have to take their word and take it at face value. I think Kezy's one of them.
So
Up and
does that mean that he's just given up trying to communicate, or that he's trying in a different way?
That's a heavy judgment. I think as long Kezy appears to have worked out a life for himself that, which is many jumps ahead of what I worked out. I'm still being buffeted about by the storms of. I think he's come to some kind of adjustment in his own world that I haven't. So, and to that extent, he's made progress, and he's probably ahead of me. Just because he's quiet doesn't mean that he wants to talk. A lot of times, it's a lot more fun to be quiet.
Would you like to ask
A
a
lot less
question on the
dangerous.
balcony?
Which one?
You said you like to make life as easy as possible,
Right.
and you also said that for the past 18 or 20 years you've avoided going into jail. I was wondering if you could give any of us peons out here a few helpful hints on how to avoid that unfortunate circumstance. You know, one or two things we could jot down on the back of our driver's license or something.
That'd be very dangerous for me to do that. But sure as hell, whatever I told you would not work for you the next time you tried to use it. Like if you went to jail, you'd blame me.
Can't hurt.
What's that?
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt? All right, just in a very quick, I've always assumed there's no such thing as paranoia, that the menace is really worse than what people tell you it is, even your most paranoid friends. And I just never assume that anybody around me is anything but a potential menace. And that goes for a lot of my best friends. And most people I know, my friends who have been busted for that reason, because they just get dumb about what they're doing. And the minute I say that, I'll be busted tomorrow, probably.
Question over here.
Steamboat Springs or something.
Would you like to ask a question?
Frame.
Yeah, got a three-part question. I'll just ask it, and you can respond in any order you want.
I'm gonna heart attack.
One, how long you been writing under the pen name Robert K. Brown? Two, when did you start Soldier of Fortune
K or K?
magazine? K.
Oh,
Brown. And,
a lot of Browns.
the third part is your $50,000 offer for Idi Amin's head on a silver platter still in effect?
That's the kind of thing that get me out of journalism. You know, I could get involved in a project like that. Particularly if we could combine it with journalism. Yeah, I could get paid for a story and also paid for the head. But I say that now, and that is one more strike against me when I go into the country. No, I prefer to, for the same money, I'd much prefer to go after Idi Amin's head than I would have to suffer to write another book.
Would you like to ask a question over
It's
here?
a lot more fun, yes.
I guess it's a lot easier for all of us to stay out of jail if we all have a 300-pound Samoan lawyer around us all the time.
Not if he's dead. Which he is.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering,
Sit down.
you mentioned earlier the Great American Slide, and I'm wondering what you meant by that, by America being in a slide. If you could be more specific.
I think this was a nice idea we had in this country, and a nice landscape to experiment with. But I think there comes a certain, there comes a time in almost any kind of experimentation or idea where you have to evaluate it. I think maybe our time has come. And in the context of just the real world, and not just the American world, but all around, we haven't done too well. We have not been able to sell we're not a very good advertisement for the idea that we represented.
Well, do you think there's a hope, or are you pessimistic in your in what
Hope
you
for
say?
what?
Do you think there's a hope for us coming out of this slide, or what?
No. I think then the damage is done, If you lose one wheel off a car, you might be able to get to the side of the road. And some freaks can make it on two wheels, but if you lose three, man, you're in serious trouble. I think we've lost three.
So
The steering won't work when you're still rolling.
So we may as well get out snorting as much coke as we can, huh?
I didn't say that.
Well, it'd be a good way to go down.
Well, shit, do you have any coke? You can come and see me. I wouldn't agree with you, but I might indulge you. So
You got a question here in the red sweater?
Liberal? Well, McGovern was beaten in '72 worse than any losing candidate since whoever first ran against George Washington. And it's getting more and more painful for a lot of people to remember who beat him and who they voted for. His name was Richard Milhouse Nixon, and he was a fucking rotten bastard and a dishonest pig, and he got not nearly enough what he should have gotten. They talk about losing battles and degrading the system. There's that. Nobody has done more to discredit the idea that a democracy can work and the decent people can be elected and run it than Richard Nixon. He shamed us all, but not so much that 62% of the people in the country didn't vote for him in '72. And those bastards have it on their conscience, and they should.
Would you like to ask a question back there?
Yeah, it's rather disconcerting to hear you say that with the removal of President Nixon and you feel that a lot of the big evil has been removed from Washington. You feel the same way about Carter when he's carrying on.
I didn't say that. No, you people have a tendency here to kind of wonder,
Okay, but anyway, so just say that you feel the same way about Carter, which you did say, and I believe the title of the Rolling Stone article was an endorsement with fear and loathing, but an endorsement.
That's
true.
All that proves is that one 12-point headline on the cover is worth 20,000 words inside. I never said that.
Well, I read the article pretty thoroughly, and
no, you read the headline.
Okay, and the article. But I'm saying that shouldn't you be doing something more? I mean, it's fine when you've got a little circle of friends that I'm sure supply you with the best drugs possible, but for the person on the street
no, you're wrong
still
with
being
that.
Arrested, persecuted and put in jail, while it's fine for a national figure,
you're getting excited
board
now.
of normal, you can
Slow down,
get away
sorry.
with it. But don't you feel you should be, endorsing a candidate who instead of is going for an air-worn Guerrero, and having a lot of people killed and shot, pouring millions into it.
Get a grip on yourself.
That you should be endorsing somebody who should be for legalizing psychedelics.
I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but I don't understand you. Yeah. I just bought that. That's pure ivory. You should be intimidated. Just pick out one of your complaints. Let's take them one at a time.
I'm just saying that, don't you think, instead of saying that you're going along with Carter, it's fine with his posturings against the big oil companies and everything, but shouldn't you be moving towards where everybody could use the drugs that you obviously have got so much out of?
You're just a natural fool. At first you set yourself up for an obvious answer,
Do you have a question over here?
I can't answer questions like that. Not in public. Who are you? Who do you work for? Yeah.
Would you continue doing that?
I'm just wondering if there's any substance behind the, have a good time, let's all get high, I mean, that only gets us so far.
I think people are looking to me for some kind of justification of what you want to do anyway. Why don't you just go ahead and do it? By not endorsing that, it's not just a matter of self-defense or politics. No, I wouldn't tell anybody to go ahead and get into drugs or madness. But if you want to and you can handle it, yeah, it's a nice way to go sometime.
Do you really believe? Right here. Oh,
who's talking?
Back here. Back where you were looking.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
You made a statement in your interview in New Times magazine that without the use of drugs, you'd have the mind of a 40-year-old accountant.
Did I say that?
Well, supposedly.
I don't think I said that.
Supposedly. Do you really believe that, and do you suggest it?
No, I don't believe it at all. Without the use of drugs, I might be working for Time magazine, perhaps, or the New York Times.
If you didn't say that, then I have another question. Can you really do the
Why
glasses?
do you believe what you read in magazines? You must be crazy.
I was asking you. I don't believe it.
Oh, all right.
That's why I came, to ask you.
No, I don't think I said that, and it's possible, but if I did, I was wrong. I know what direction you're getting at, or what direction you're wondering in, and it's probably the same one I was wondering in, which meant that part of the question was what effect these drugs had on your life, and it's the kind of question that people are always after you with. And it's obvious that you can't maintain a total duality of lifestyles that allow you to work as the managing editor, say, of the Utica Daily News, and also be, someone of the acid freak, somebody who steals airplanes at nights and that zooms over, over Pittsburgh and comes back and handles the other life. No, if you get into drugs and you try to maintain any kind of functioning role in the society, yeah, they're going to be a factor, if only because people will make them a factor.
One more question. They have a picture of you passing a sobriety, a test to prove that you're sober by flipping your glasses off the back of your head and catching them. Can you really do that?
Only under extreme pressure. Which I did then.
Can we pressure you enough?
I did that, and I beat the CHP twice in 4 nights. And both times I really should have been locked up.
Thank you.
No, I shouldn't have. The evidence suggests that I was as harmless as I claimed to be. I didn't hit anybody, I caused no trouble, but I was extremely bent.
Okay.
We have a question on the balcony.
How can you be in the balcony? I'm down here. The dark one.
The hell of a balcony, you're on.
1977, we came down. Given your actions and your attitude as demonstrated here and reported in the media, I got one question. How do you, to preface it, what I'm talking about primarily is the way you acted when you first met Carter. You were drunk, you were loud, you were all those things.
That was the same way I am now.
Exactly. My question is, how
drunk
do you
and loud, you bastard.
Don't get personal, you chump.
Yeah.
What I want to know.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Your people made this, you swine. Go ahead. Drunk and loud, indeed.
Seriously.
Oh, you're right, though. I first met Carter, I was probably worse than I am now.
One question. How do you maintain your credibility and your contacts with people like Ted Kennedy, who introduced you to Carter, who was your ticket to Carter? How do you maintain your contacts with those people that you seem to have so much fun putting down? You seem to have so much fun taking apart.
They like me. And that's an honest answer. I don't know. That is a fact. Carter worries about me. He's told people that he thinks I'm a bad advertisement for the human race, and but he thinks I'm salvageable. People all through my life have felt that way. That if I could just be brought to see the light, that I would be different. But they were just dumb. That's how the light I made it. Or else I'm doomed. It doesn't matter. Reality is there. Maybe here. Who's talking?
If I were to grant you 3 wishes right now, what would they be?
One that we have to get, we will end this thing quickly. That's already a wish. I can do that. I'd like to, let's see, Jesus. No, when you think about it, they play a lot of trouble, Jerry Counts. I'd like to just kind of have the mobility and the whatever income it would take to just get into a total, degenerate lifestyle. I'd like to be let alone on a fairly elevated level. Yeah, not have to. I'm tired of wars. I'm tired of fighting with people. Well, maybe I'm not, but I'm tired of fighting with the wrong people. I'd like to just get into sort of a white trash drifting trip, just to make a fool of myself and not have to worry that it'll show up in the Time magazine next week.
You've got 2 more.
2 more, right? Yeah. That's it. And you're one of them, wherever you are. Yeah.
Well, what do you want to say?
No, there's 2 more wishes. You only made one.
Oh my God. Well, I could use some sleep right now. I'd like to have what? Shit, I'm trying. You know, I don't want to work for the Prison Fellowship Committee. Yeah, the third one was, I wish I could answer your question.
Okay, and then...
Think about that. Yeah, I might solve a lot of problems if I could.
Who's that guy sitting next to you?
Who's talking?
Who's that guy sitting next to you?
Who is this? Who's talking? Yeah, Freddie, you're right. Say it again.
I'd like to know if that cane you have has any mystical significance to you. And I'd also like to know if you think fascism is doing well in America today.
Better than ever, yeah.
Is that the cane or fascism?
Well, fascism always does pretty well when people get lazy and pissed off. You know, almost any solution you come to when you figure, oh, fuck, I'm tired of that, you're thinking about this, well, just kill those bastards. You know, that's, anytime things get, you know, the best of you, that's, the natural drift is into a fascistic kind of solution. So in a country where there are no solutions for the main problems, I think God meant us to adopt fascistic solutions.
Do you know anything about the Wandervogel movement in Germany before the Second World War?
What kind of movement?
The Wandervogel movement in Germany?
No.
Okay, I defer my last question so we can get on with this and you can get some sleep.
That's true. We have 2 more minutes and 2 more questions. We'll take one thrown ringer, one blind shot, and then one serious one. I don't think about it much. He didn't bother me. What do you want to know about him? That acid freak, that goddamn. You want to know about what Chancellor, his dope habits? Whose? That's why a cop. He runs at Ibogaine. Just what I'm doing now, except we're getting paid for it. I was broke, yeah, and not quite sane. I'm still broke and not quite sane, but the form has changed somehow. I was ejected and rejected by almost every place that I have no. I claim Columbia just to embarrass Columbia. I went there enough.
Hunter, I started with that first question again. I just decided maybe I would ask you: is reality a pickle, or a prune, or a 3-2 joke?
That's a question you've been waiting for all night. Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know. B. No. A pickle.
Pickle.
Well. A pickle. A 3-2 joke.
Well,
Hunter?
Very drugs.
Hunter, you seem
let's get this under control here. These people are...
Hunter, you seem to be kind of a basic hedonist like most of us, I imagine. Is that a true statement to begin with?
Well, you said it seems that way, and I think we should just leave it that way.
Okay, just to get on with my last kind of 2-part question, I'd like to know what you thought of the Grateful Dead and what are 6 of your favorite things to do.
The Grateful Dead are, has been for a long time one of my favorite bands and favorite people. Favorite things to do, I like to look at my watch. See, to me it's 12 o'clock. That's what my watch does.